People smugglers sniff a weak leader, and that's exactly what has happened here.
People putting their lives at risk, and we need to make sure that we send very strong messages.
They are weak on national security and they are weak on border security.
Operation Sovereign Borders, as it's termed now, is nothing like Operation Sovereign Borders under the Liberal Party.
The government under fire after more than 40 asylum seekers arrive in remote Western Australia. Travelling from Indonesia, 30 asylum seekers were discovered on Friday morning near the isolated community of Beagle Bay. 30 kilometres north, a further 13 walked into Pender Bay. Australian Border Force caught on the hop. Some asylum seekers moved to a park for 2 hours. Others were moved to a local kindergarten to await the agency.
Australia's tough border protection policies mean no one who travels unauthorised by boat will ever be allowed to settle permanently in Australia.
Border Force making good on its promise. The asylum seekers flown to Nauru in the early hours of Sunday morning, where Australia still has an agreement to process boat arrivals. The news kicking off the latest round in Australia's asylum seeker debate.
We've got a weak Prime Minister when it comes to our borders.
Well, Operation Sovereign Borders is being implemented.
The Prime Minister reaps what he sows.
Peter Dutton needs to think very carefully about the role that he is playing, and I think it's there for all to see, whether he's interested in the national interest or interested in just playing politics.
Others calling for politics to be left out entirely.
This is about people, not politics. It's not about left, it's not about right. And my message to politicians and the general public is to remember that.
But with the government still unable to confirm whether there are more asylum seekers to be found, this could be just the beginning of a bigger headache for the Prime Minister.
To discuss the latest developments, we're joined by Network 10's political editor, Ashley Raper. Ash, just how bad is this for the government?
Look, Sarah, the timing isn't great. We've had the Albanese government all last week facing a barrage of questions and a lot of pressure from the coalition over immigration policies, and specifically in regards to the immigration detainees that had to be released after the High Court ruling last year. So that's happening all last week, and then the boat arrives on Friday. And this is essentially a gift for the coalition to continue this conversation and for this debate to play out publicly. They feel very comfortable around national security. It's traditionally been a problematic area and a vulnerability for Labor.
How hard do you think the opposition are going to go on this one?
We've had the opposition leader Peter Dutton come out, and he has seized on this boat Friday, Saturday and today. He's come out very strong. He has been criticising the government. He's been attacking how they're running Operation Sovereign Borders, which obviously was running under the previous coalition government. But there is another interesting element to this that has popped up. Now, the head of Operation Sovereign Borders released a statement 2 days ago, and he didn't name any names, but he just came out and was very clear and said the mission of Operation Sovereign Borders is the same as it was in 2013 as it is now. Now, obviously in 2013 and previously in the years, that was when it was being run by the coalition government. And in this statement, the commander went on and said, any alternative narrative will be exploited by criminal people smugglers. So this is a particularly pointed statement. Yes, it doesn't use any names, but it's basically saying that anybody who comes out and says Operation Sovereign Borders is perhaps weaker than it used to be is actually going to cause the problem that they're trying to highlight. So the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, has seized on that to try and neutralise the criticism around that and really put it back on Peter Dutton, saying, look, what are you trying to do here? Are you trying to play politics, or are you trying to work in the national interest?
Ash, as you rightly point out, notoriously this operation is secretive. We can all remember that slogan, on water matters, we can't talk about them. But given that the commander is saying this operation is still the same as it was back in 2013, does it suggest that this large number of people getting not just into Australian waters but onto the Australian mainland, does that suggest that something really significant has actually gone wrong within that system?
In terms of, you know, the policy and border protection seems to be the same under Labor as the coalition. So, look, we don't know. We have had the Prime Minister stand up. We haven't had the Home Affairs Minister stand up at all and take questions. So you would assume, especially if they're facing such criticism from the opposition, that they would want to get the Office of Home Affairs and the Minister would want to come out on the front foot and answer some questions.
All right, Ash, thanks so much for your thoughts.